Dear students, today we are going to learn the new lesson biomolecules. Biomolecules are biological molecules, the chemical substances which are present in the living organisms. They are called biomolecules. Biomolecules are the important biological macromolecules which are found in living organisms such as plants, animals, including human beings, even in microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, etc. They involve in several chemical processes and even they shows catalytic activity in living cells. The biomolecules includes both bioinorganic and bioorganic molecules in the cell. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the bioorganic molecules, the most important biomolecules of the living cells. They includes the carbohydrate, proteins, lipids, and the nucleic acid. The biochemistry is a branch of chemistry which deals with the study of the chemical process taking place in the living system. This domain which deals with the study of chemical substance within the living system. The living systems are made up of various complex biomolecules such as carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, lipids, along with the micromolecules like vitamins, hormones, enzymes, etc. Where the proteins and carbohydrates, they are the essential constituent of our food. In this chapter, we are going to study about the carbohydrates, protein, enzymes, the nucleic acids, vitamins, hormones in detail. Let us begin this session with the carbohydrates. So first of all, we want to know what is the occurrence of the carbohydrates. Actually, these carbohydrates are the class which are naturally occurring organic compounds made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The substance like glucose, which is present in grapes, sucrose, which is present in sugarcane, maltose, which is present in malt, lactose, which is from milk, starch present in the plants as a storage food, glycogen as a storage food in animals, the cellulose, which is a supporting material in plants. They're example for the carbohydrates. Next, we come across what are carbohydrates. Their definition: the carbohydrate was originated from a French term called hydrate de carbone, means the hydrates of carbon. Actually, they are represented by a general formula called CX H2O Y times, where X and Y are the whole numbers. For example, if you take the molecular formula of the glucose, C6H12O6, which fits into this general formula as C6H2O 6 times. But whatever the compounds are there, if they obey the general formula, fit into the formula, but they are not be the carbohydrates. Example, you can see, if you take acetic acid, you can write as a formula CH3COOH. You can also write C2H4O2. Can also be written according to the general formula of carbohydrate. You can write C2H2O 2 times. But actually, this is not a carbohydrate, right? Although it satisfies the general formula, but it's not a carbohydrate. It is a carboxylic acid. Another compound, rhamnose, it is a C6H12O5. It is not satisfying the general formula of the carbohydrate, right? It is not, we cannot write this as a CXH2Y times. So if you write C6H2O 6 times, then one oxygen will be more. So we cannot write in this fashion. So it is not a carbohydrate according to the general formula, but it is a carbohydrate. The most of the properties belongs to the carbohydrate. Next, the present definition for the carbohydrate, what we use, it is a optically active, means they can rotate a plane polarized light, optically active polyhydroxyaldehydes. Many hydroxy groups having aldehydes, polyhydroxyaldehyde, CHO group, or polyhydroxy ketones, C double bond O, or the substance that give these on hydrolysis. So substance which gives these compounds on hydrolysis, they are called as carbohydrates. Let us see the examples here. If you take glucose, say here CHO group, aldehyde group is present with many OH group. Here 5 OH groups are present. Henceforth, it is a polyhydroxyaldehyde. If you take fructose, see here OH group is present, 5 OH group along with the C double bond O group. So it is a ketone. So it is a polyhydroxy ketone. So here, if you take the 4 carbon atoms present in the carbon chain, between of the carbon chain, so these carbon atoms are attached with 4 different groups. Here, 1, so 2, 3, and whole it's a 4. Hence, this is called asymmetric carbon. So, asymmetric carbon, if it is present, they can rotate the plane polarized light. Henceforth, it is optically active. Or if you take the sucrose, upon hydrolysis, is a hydrolysis phenomenon here, then we get 1 molecule of glucose and 1 molecule of fructose. Henceforth, it is a carbohydrate. So most commonly, carbohydrates are called as saccharides. They are referred as saccharides, which is derived from, the name saccharide is derived from a Greek word called saccharon. Right? Saccharon is a Greek word, means sugar or sweet in taste. Okay, let us go to the next topic. It is a classification of carbohydrates. Here, the classification is done in many ways. Here I am doing the classification based on the number of simple units. The simple units are nothing but a saccharide unit. Usually, one saccharide unit is having the formula C6H12O6. That's a simple saccharide unit. On the basis of that, we are classifying the carbohydrate into 3 classes. One is a monosaccharide, second one is oligosaccharide, and third one is polysaccharide. Let us come in detail. The first one is monosaccharide, as indicates mono means a single or a one. So if a monosaccharide is the simplest carbohydrate which cannot be further hydrolyzed, means it is containing one saccharide unit. Example, you see glucose and fructose. It is glucose and fructose. It is having the general formula or molecular formula C6H12O6. Second one is oligosaccharide. See here, oligo means a Greek word, means few. Right? Greek word oligo is meaning few. If a saccharide or a carbohydrate which on hydrolysis gives 2 to 9 monosaccharide units. If it is giving 2 to 9 monosaccharide units. Okay, so they are called oligosaccharides. So example we can give maltose, sucrose, lactose, raffinose, stachyose, etc. So they are all together called as oligosaccharides. So depending upon the number of monosaccharide units, right, monosaccharide units formed on hydrolysis, they can be subclassified as a di, tri, tetra, saccharides, so on. Right. So disaccharide, trisaccharides are the subclassification of oligosaccharides. Depends upon the number of monosaccharide units present on them. Let us come disaccharide. Come to the disaccharide. Di means two. So here carbohydrate which on hydrolysis, right, gives two monosaccharide units. Carbohydrates giving two monosaccharide units here. Example you see maltose, sucrose, lactose, etc. Example, see maltose. Upon hydrolysis, we get the two molecules of glucose. So here two monosaccharide units are present. Right? If you do sucrose, we get one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose, and so on. Come across the second type, trisaccharide. Tri means three. See, upon carbohydrate hydrolysis, gives three monosaccharide units. Right? They are called trisaccharides. Example, raffinose. See, if you hydrolyze raffinose, we get one molecule of glucose, one molecule of fructose, and one molecule of galactose. So hence it is a trisaccharide. If you come across polysaccharides, we know that poly means many, right? So carbohydrate which on hydrolysis give a large number of monosaccharide, many number of monosaccharide units, then it's called polysaccharides. Example you see starch, cellulose, glycogen, etc. Next, the classification of the carbohydrates based on the taste, sweet taste, right? They are classifying the carbohydrates into two groups, sugars and the non-sugars. See, it is based on the taste, they are classifying the carbohydrate, here sugars and non-sugars. Say carbohydrates which are having the sweet taste, they are called as a sugar. Most of the monosaccharide, oligosaccharides are comes under sugar, right? Example you see glucose, fructose, maltose, sucrose, right? They are all example for sugars. Say they are crystalline solids and also they are soluble in water. Right? They are soluble in water. Example ನೋಡಿ glucose, fructose, sucrose, galactose, maltose, lactose, etc. If you come across the second type, carbohydrate which is do not having the sweet taste, they are called non-sugars. So most of the polysaccharides are non-sugars. They are not crystalline and they are insoluble in water. Right? The carbohydrates which are not having the sweet taste, they are called non-sugars. Example you see starch, cellulose, and glycogen, they are example for the non-sugars. Next type of classification of sugars is based on the reducing nature. Right? Sugars are classified on the basis of reducing nature. So here two types, reducing sugars and non-reducing sugars. So what are those non-reducing and non-reducing sugars? See, the sugars which reduce tolerance reagent or Fehlich solution. So here tolerance reagent and Fehlich solutions are a mild oxidizing agent. So those sugars which reduce tolerance reagent or Fehling solution, they are called reducing sugars. They contain, means the sugars which contains free aldehyde group and ketonic group. they can reduce tolerance reagent or Pellic solution, right? So they are containing free aldehydic and ketonic group. They said to be the reducing sugars. Example, glucose, fructose, galactose, maltose, and the lactose are example for reducing sugars. See here, sugars which do not reduce tolerance reagent and Pellic solution. They called as non-reducing sugar. If the sugars do not contain free aldehydic or ketonic group, they cannot reduce the tolerance reagent or Pellic solution. So such sugars are called non-reducing sugar. So here example is a sucrose. Sucrose is an example for non-reducing sugar. Next, it's a come across monosaccharide. Their classification, right? Monosaccharides are the saccharides containing one saccharide unit. So monosaccharides are further classified on the basis of a number of carbon atoms and the functional group. So if it is based on the functional group, see here, if a monosaccharide is contains an aldehydic group, if they are containing an aldehydic group, then they said to be aldoses, right? They are containing aldehydic group, that monosaccharide containing aldehydic group, then they said to be aldose. If they contain ketonic group, then they said to be ketose. Okay, if they are containing keto group, C double bond O group, then they said to be ketose. Based on the number of carbon atom present on the monosaccharide unit, they're also classified into different classes, which is listed out in the next slide in a table. Here, if the atom, 3 carbon atoms are present in a carbohydrate or monosaccharide, then they said to be triose. If it is 4 carbon atom, tetrose, 5 carbon atom, pentose, 6 carbon atom, hexose, and 7 it is a heptose. Based on the aldehydic and ketonic functional group, they can also be written. If it is a 3 carbon atom, we can write aldotriose. If it is aldehydic group is present, if it is ketonic group is present, ketotriose. If it is 4 carbon atoms are present, aldotetrose, ketotetrose. That is a next also. It is a aldopentose, ketopentose, aldohexose, ketohexose, aldoheptose, and ketohepsis respectively. Next, we'll come across the first member of the monosaccharide. It is glucose. We want to know how we can prepare glucose. So glucose usually present in free form in the nature as well as in the combined form. Usually they are present in sweet fruits and the honey. So glucose is the abundant compound which is present in the nature. It's a ripened grapes which contains glucose in large amount. Right? Ripened glucose grapes which present in which contains glucose in a large amount. Henceforth, they are also called as a grape sugar. Glucose is also called as a grape sugar. It can also be prepared artificially. So glucose can also be prepared artificially. The first method, they can be prepared from sucrose. Say sucrose is nothing but cane sugar. If you boil sucrose along with the dilute acids like HCl or H2SO4 in alcoholic medium, we get the equimolar quantity of glucose and fructose. Here equation, if you hydrolyze the sucrose here, we get equal quantity of glucose and fructose. So it is the hydrolysis of sucrose which we can prepare glucose. But if you want to prepare commercially, if you want to prepare the commercially, the starch can be a source where we can prepare glucose commercially. Upon hydrolysis of a starch which is boiling with the dilute H2SO4 at 393 Kelvin under pressure, we can get the huge amount of glucose. Right. So it is a major source of glucose is a starch. So this is how we can prepare glucose from the starch. In the next slide, we are going to study about the structure of the glucose. In the next section, we will learn how to extract or elucidate the structure of the glucose. Thank you.